Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're talking about asthma, and specifically, we're going to challenge this quiet assumption that a lot of people have.
Right. The idea that if you haven't had a major attack, if you're not rushing to the hospital, then everything must be fine.
That your asthma is under control.
Exactly. But that bar is just set way too low. We think comfortable, easy breathing should be the baseline, not just avoiding an emergency.
Okay, let's unpack this. We looked in some really supportive sources, especially from the Asthma Friend community, and one big idea just kept coming up.
And that is that asthma almost always gives these quiet little warning signs, daily signals,
Yeah.
long before a serious flare-up happens.
So our mission today is to really tune into those signals.
Yes, because recognizing them is probably the single biggest thing you can do to just feel better day to day. We want you to stop settling for manageable and start expecting to feel good.
So let's get our terms straight first. When we say uncontrolled asthma, that sounds, I don't know, it sounds a bit scary, like you failed somehow.
It does, and we need to strip the fear out of that word. Really, all it means is that your symptoms are regularly getting in the way of your life.
Getting in the way of what specifically?
Well, things like sleep, or exercise, or just making you reach for that blue reliever inhaler all the time. Even if the symptoms feel kind of mild to you, if they're happening often, it just means your current plan isn't quite working at its best.
And this is so important. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, right?
Absolutely not. It's not a personal failure. It just means your management strategy needs a little tweak. Your body is just giving you feedback that it needs a different kind of support.
That's a great way to frame it. So let's jump into those signals. The first one is maybe the most obvious, the one you can, actually count.
It's how often you're using your reliever or your rescue inhaler. The general rule is if you need it more than twice a week, that's a huge sign. And that's not including a dose you might take before exercise.
And it's not just the counting, is it? It's the feeling behind it, like that sense of panic if you realize you've left it at home.
Yes. That psychological reliance is telling you something. It's telling you your baseline isn't stable. Because remember, that reliever is just treating the immediate symptom, the tightening of your airways.
But not the real underlying.
The underlying inflammation, exactly.
Yeah.
The reliever is like a fire hose for an emergency, but your controller or preventer inhaler is what actually puts out the slow, smoldering fire of that chronic irritation.
Okay, let's move on to the second red flag, which is a big one, nighttime symptoms.
This is so critical. Your asthma symptoms should not be waking you up at night.
Not ever.
I mean, even once or twice a month is a sign of poor control. If you're waking up coughing or with a tight chest or wheezing, that's a clear signal that your inflammation isn't being managed around the clock. Your body is supposed to be resting, not fighting to breathe.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the next signs are the ones people so often miss, the ways asthma can quietly start to run your life.
Yes, this is what we call the silent limitation. And the third sign is avoiding physical activity, sometimes without even realizing that's what you're doing.
So you don't say, I can't take that walk because of my asthma.
Oh, you make an excuse. You take the elevator instead of the stairs. You feel out of breath carrying groceries and just think you're unfit. You start, planning your day around how your lungs feel.
That's huge, when the condition starts dictating your life choices.
Precisely. You've slowly accepted a lower standard for what your body can do. And that brings us to the fourth sign, which is a persistent cough.
Right, not just a cold that's hanging on.
Exactly. It's a chronic cough that might get worse at night, or when you laugh, or when you step out into cold air. That's not just an annoyance. That's your airways telling you they're constantly irritated and hypersensitive.
And the fifth sign really builds on that idea of just getting used to discomfort, normalizing chest tightness.
This one is so insidious. You start to live with this low-grade feeling of heaviness or tightness in your chest. You might even describe it as manageable but uncomfortable.
But breathing shouldn't be something you're constantly aware of.
It should be effortless, unconscious. If you're always noticing your breathing, it means it's taking work. And that is a significant sign that things aren't right.
This all paints such a clear picture, and it leads perfectly into the personal story that was shared on the Asthma Friend blog, which was so powerful.
It really was. This was the moment of insight for the author. They genuinely thought their asthma was fine because, they hadn't been to the hospital in years.
They mistook the absence of a disaster for the presence of health.
That's it perfectly. But when they looked closer, they realized they were using the reliever inhaler 3, sometimes 4 times a week, waking up with a tight chest most mornings. and had just stopped walking up hills with their dog without even thinking about why.
So the biggest mistake was just accepting that discomfort as normal.
Yes. The biggest lesson was that asthma does not need to be dramatic to be poorly controlled.
And if you're listening right now and recognizing some of these signs in yourself, we really want you to hear this. You are not failing.
Not at all. Your body is just giving you data. It's giving you feedback. And listening to it is how you get back in control and start feeling better. You really do deserve to breathe easily.
So what does this all mean for someone listening? What are the calm, actionable next steps?
Okay, step 1 is to just review your medications, specifically your preventer. Are you taking it every single day as prescribed?
And just as important, is your technique right?
Oh, absolutely. So many people use their inhaler incorrectly, and that means the medicine isn't actually getting where it needs to go. A quick technique check with your pharmacist or doctor can make a world of difference.
Okay, so that's step 1. What's next?
Step 2 is to track your symptoms. I know it can feel like a chore, but it is so valuable. Just keep a simple log every time you use your reliever, anytime you wake up at night.
And why is that data so powerful?
Because it shows you patterns that your memory might miss. And when you take that log to your doctor, they can make really informed decisions instead of just guessing. It helps them fine-tune your treatment plan.
Step 3 is about being prepared.
Yes, update your asthma action plan. Knowing exactly what to do when things get worse, when to call the doctor, when to go to the hospital, it just removes all the panic from the situation. It puts you in charge.
And the final step.
Don't be afraid to ask for a review. If you see those patterns in your log, make an appointment. Go in with your data and say, my quality of life is being affected and I'd like to adjust my plan. Remember, asthma control is adjustable. It is not a fixed state.
That's the perfect note to end on. It's not a destination. It's a process of listening and adjusting.
Exactly. Recognizing these signs isn't a failure, it's feedback. And taking action is just. It's an act of self-respect. It's saying you deserve to feel good.
Listen to your body. Don't normalize the discomfort. You should always be aiming to move further along that spectrum toward easier breathing.
We really encourage you to read the full blog on Asthma Friend for more stories and insights. And please remember, you are not alone in this. We are in this together.
We'll see you next time for the next deep dive.